Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. There's been a lot of buzz from Marvel lately regarding video games. They have several different ones for mobile devices, their most popular ones being Contest of Champions, Avengers Academy, and Future Fight. But they are strangely lacking in straight-up console games. They had some tie-in games come out with Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and then a Kinect game with the Avengers, but none of them were overly memorable. Since then, the only real Marvel console games came in the form of LEGO Marvel Superheroes and LEGO The Avengers, save the occasional games for characters they didn't have the rights to at the time, like Spider-Man. But fans, including myself, have definitely wanted Marvel to step up their game in this department, and were thrilled when Marvel announced that they had a lot of plans going forward. Just next year, we're getting a Guardians of the Galaxy game from Telltale, a PlayStation 4 exclusive Spider-Man game, and the highly anticipated fighting game Marvel vs. Capcom 4 Infinite. But what else could Marvel do in this department? The Spider-Man game looks particularly interesting as it seems to be set in its own universe and not just a movie tie-in. So could we see a video game universe spanning across multiple games, developers, and platforms? Perhaps the Guardians Telltale game is set in this universe as well. We don't know for sure right now, but it would certainly be pretty awesome. So with that in mind, here are 5 video games that I'd love to see Marvel make. Now keep in mind this won't include the X-Men or the Fantastic Four. They don't have the video game rights to them. 5. The Avengers. This one might seem pretty obvious. In fact, at this point, I'd honestly be surprised if it wasn't in the works. But it's still worth mentioning. The only Avengers games we've gotten is the previously mentioned Kinect game, which, let's be honest, no one cared about, and then the LEGO Avengers game, following LEGO's tradition of essentially adapting movies into video games, which is fine, but why can't we just have a straight-up, non-Kinect, non-LEGO Avengers game? What I'd really like to see is a Jonathan Hickman era kinda game, with a vast roster of Avengers to choose from, and maybe even an epic, galaxy-spanning story as well. There is a little movie called Avengers Infinity War coming out after all, but I'd be okay with any villains, really. The Masters of Evil, Ultron, Kang, the High Evolutionary, maybe even all of those in one massive game. Point is, we need a good Avengers game, Marvel, and there may be no better time to do it. 4. Invincible Iron Man. Iron Man is one of my favorite characters, so a game about him is something I'd really love to see. Now we do have the Iron Man 2 game, but that game didn't have anything you'd want from a game about Iron Man. Like the vast gallery of armors, the fast-paced action and flying. Wouldn't it be cool to have an Iron Man game with a globe-trotting James Bond style story? I'd really like to see a visual style similar to David Marquez's work in the first couple of issues of 2015's Invincible Iron Man. Colorful and sleek, it fit the book perfectly, and it was sad to see the artist leave it. It'd be great for his style to be recreated in this. 3. Champions. Ms. Marvel, Miles Morales, Amadeus Cho, Sam Alexander. These are the young heroes taking the fight into their own hands in Marvel's current Champions book. And the weird thing about it is it's actually kind of better than Marvel's main Avengers book right now. Strange, right? So why not make their story into a video game? Marvel's had a big interest in their teenage heroes lately. Ever since the new young Spider-Man first showed up in Civil War, there's been tons of new lines about their younger characters. There's too many comics to get into, but we've also got TV shows about Cloak and Dagger, the Runaways, and the New Warriors on the horizon, all of which star teenage heroes. So wouldn't it be cool to see a video game about them? Now, there might have to be some changes. If this is a shared universe, they'd have to explain the 2 Spider-Mans and Hulks, or they could go the easier route of having a new lineup of champions, perhaps a version of the Young Avengers. Who knows, but I'd love to see it. 2. Shadowland. Shadowland is a 2010 event story that happened in the comics, one that told the story of the Hand trying to take over New York City with a possessed Daredevil leading them. The thing possessing him, by the way, is basically a demon the Hand's members worship. The comic brought a host of more street-level heroes like Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, The Punisher, Moon Knight, Wolverine, White Tiger, and even Ghost Rider. And while I see a different approach to the story and characters here, one more in line with the Netflix shows, I'd really love to see this game. Obviously, they couldn't make it in time for the Defenders, but maybe Daredevil Season 3? Now, there are questions here, such as if they'd be willing to make an M-rated game, which it doesn't necessarily have to be, but if you're going to play as the Punisher, you gotta do it right. But I see no reason why they wouldn't. A Shadowland game is something I'd really like to see Marvel do, and would really flesh out the video game universe in the same way that the Netflix shows do the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And number 1, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Marvel Ultimate Alliance has already had 2 games in its series. The first one in 2006, and then the second one, which adapted the Civil War storyline in 2009. But both had the same basic idea. You go through a story spanning across the Marvel Universe, playing with a team of 4 Marvel characters of your choosing. It was awesome. It had so many Marvel characters in places, from A-list to Z-list. There hasn't been any real word since the second one, which wasn't quite as good as the first one. However, it has been teased that we might see another one. And while it's very likely characters like Wolverine and Phoenix will be excluded from this one, we'd still get to use characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy. The story could be about anything. It could be its own original plot like the first one, or it could be an adaptation of anything from Secret Invasion to Siege to what's most likely Infinity. If made right, this would be an awesome game to have, and hopefully Marvel will look into it. But that's all of the big games I'd really like to see Marvel make. What games do you guys want Marvel to make? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.